Big bills, I fell in love with big wheels and quick thrills. My niggas running tip drills, can't sit still.
NBA 2K15 probably had the worst soundtrack that I've ever heard in my life. And guess who was the guy who chose the song? That was right, Pharrell Williams. And speaking of Pharrell Williams, he was also the same guy who probably had the most cancerous song in 2014. You guys remember Happy. And you know what else was worse? Kevin Durant's season that year. And speaking of Kevin Durant, during the 2014 offseason, he had a Jones fracture in his right foot, which involved bruising and difficulty walking. No. But the reigning MVP will make his season debut on December 2nd, 2014 against the New Orleans Pelicans. In that game, he had 27 points in his return, but the Thunder lost and they would have a start to the season as they were 5-13. And for that entire season in general, it was just a cluster for KD as he had suffered 4 injuries, all involving either his foot or ankle. This also included the Jones fracture that he suffered in the 2014 offseason, and he only played 27 games that year. But despite all the injuries, Durant would average 25.4 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 4.1 assists. And while he sat down, the Thunder will be carried by Russell Westbrook. But the Thunder will miss the playoffs with a 45-37 record. Also, Scott Brooks, the coach who helped the Thunder achieve many things for half a decade, including being in the NBA Finals, he was fired immediately. I think when KD was watching Russell Westbrook stat pad his way to a 9th seed in the Western Conference and seeing his coach fired, he felt like he didn't want to play for the Thunder anymore. Oh wait.
Don't give a fuck if it kills, it mixed well. I'm only counting big bills. I fell in love with big wheels and quick thrills.
In July 2014, Anthony Davis signed a 5-year, $145 million contract to stay with the Pelicans. That's $29 million a year. As for James Harden, he will go on to have an historic season for the Houston Rockets as he averaged 29 points, 7.5 assists, and 6.1 rebounds. Now here's the interesting thing about that season, alright? Oscar Robertson, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Russell Westbrook are the only players in league history to have a season where they've averaged at least 29 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. However, it felt like James Harden's efforts were unacknowledged because the Rockets were the 8th seed in the West. And like James Harden, Davis was carrying the Pelicans, but his team missed the playoffs with only 30 wins. Davis would average 24, 10, and 2 blocks. And the only good thing about the Pelicans that year was Davis himself, and one game in particular. On February 21st, 2016, a day before my 16th birthday,
I don't care, nobody cares.
Davis dropped a career-high 59 points and had 20 rebounds on 43 minutes against the Pistons at the Palace. Meanwhile, the rest of his team combined for 197 minutes, 52 points, and 31 rebounds. That is the definition of carrying. And fun fact, in that game, he became the youngest player in league history to score 59 points in a game. And this was a trend throughout the season. Davis did so much carrying that he had to miss the rest of the season with 2 injuries. A left knee injury and a torn labrum in his left shoulder that had been bothering him since his rookie season. To prove this, Davis said, "I did injure my shoulder my rookie year. I've always just played through it. They told me the surgery eventually had to happen, and gradually it was getting worse." But it was all good for Stephen Curry, the man in the middle. He was part of arguably the greatest team in NBA history, winning 73 games, which is the NBA record for most points by a team in an NBA regular season. In general, the number of things Curry did were insurmountable. He broke the NBA record for 402 three-pointers. He became the first unanimous MVP in NBA history. He had 3 50-point games, and he felt untouchable. It was definitely one of the greatest single seasons a player could have had in league history. 30 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and won 70+ games. That's a only Jordan can do. And fun fact, for every 3-pointer Curry hit that year, he would send 3 mosquito nets to Africa every time he made a 3-pointer in a game. So if you do the math, that's 402 times 3, and you get 1,206 nets being sent. He was definitely thinking about those kids in Africa. Am I right, guys? All jokes aside, the Nets were used to help prevent malaria, which is a life-threatening disease caused by mosquitoes. Okay, enough of sucking Curry's dick. So, because the Warriors were 7-3-9, like I said already, they should have just won the championship with their eyes closed, right? Well, that's why life is a roller coaster. In Game 4 against the 8th seed Rockets, Curry will suffer a strained MCL just before the first half ended. He'll be out for 2 weeks, but the Warriors still did fine without him. Then we go to the Western Conference Finals after the Thunder were up 3-1 over Golden State, and the Warriors will come back winning the next 3 games to advance to the NBA Finals and make Durant slither his way into the Warriors during the offseason. See what I did there? Anywho, it was the NBA Finals rematch between the Cavs and the Warriors, and it was ironic because the Thunder were just up 3-1 on the Warriors, but this time the Warriors were up 3-1 to the Cavs. But LeBron's 36.3 points in the final 3 games of the finals gave Cleveland its first NBA championship in franchise history. As for Curry, he choked with only 17 points and shooting 31.5% from the field in Game 7 of the finals. Thus, all the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead means commenced. Lastly, before the 2016 season started, Curry was referring to his disappointing fouls loss, saying, "I wasn't 100%, but who cares? I was playing, I was out there trying to help my team win, and that's all that matters. I've taken advantage of the summer to get ready, and I still have a little bit of work to go." And now, he's a 3-time NBA champion.
My niggas wanna tip drills, can't sit still, don't give a fuck if it kills, it mix well, I'm only counting. Knock, who's there? Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Proceed with caution. I heard if you taste it, it only results in a hole in your heart. Fuck it, I take the whole cake and I won't leave a portion.
So after all the drama involving him and LeBron before the 2017 season, Kyrie blackmailed the Cavaliers, and he told manager that if he did not get traded, he would have surgery and not play that season. So because Cleveland had no choice, he was sent to Boston, and I remember before the season started, many people were saying Kyrie was incapable of carrying a team. But he proved everyone wrong as he led Boston to a 16-game winning streak during the season, and they became a force to be reckoned with in the East. Albeit, Kyrie may have had a good team surrounding him, but you can't deny how good Kyrie was that year. Had he not been injured, he would have been in the All-NBA first team instead of Damian Lillard and Mr. Stat Pattern Russell Westbrook. Kyrie averaged 24-5-4 in 60 games and helped Boston have a successful 55-win regular season. While he was recovering from his patella, Terry Rozier, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum will give LeBron a run for his money in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2018. And we go to 2K19 now, and we're not even sure about Giannis. At this moment, Giannis has so much pressure to be the chosen one to King James, and we hope that Giannis can respond to that. And that was the end of the video, guys. Part 1 and 2 is in the books. If you watch all 3 parts, you are a beast, man. And if you like this content, definitely subscribe. My Hardwood Amino is here. My Twitter is here. And this was your boy James, man. I make videos every Thursday. Hope it's all good for you, because it's all good for me.
Count it up, 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 count it up.